welcome to In Business Talks 2. We're excited to welcome you to our bonus episode, The Friday Fix, Ep23. We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together, we are In Business.
Every Friday, we will be discussing a business-related subject with either one of our wonderful In Business networking members or a fellow business owner who will be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. This week, our guest is Phil Fraser, who will be telling us all about his Pita technique. Oh, and make sure you listen to the end of the show to hear our guests tell us about their favourite networking tip. So, without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Friday Fix.
So we'd like to welcome our guest today to the Friday Fix. It's Phil Fraser, and he describes himself as somewhere between a business coach and a business mentor. So welcome, Phil.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, welcome, Phil. Good to have you with us today. All the way from sunny Spain, I believe, as well, Phil, today. Yeah, I thought I'd get that in there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
well, sorry, it's sunny here as well.
It's upsetting to hear that it's sunny where you are. You know, it's always nicer when you're abroad, when you know it's raining at home. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You always want it to rain, don't you, when you're away? But,
so,
anyway.
Before we start, do you just want to tell us a little bit about what you do, just to give our listeners a flavour of what you do?
Okay, so I offer my services as what I call a business sounding board. As you rightly said, it's sort of halfway between business coach and business mentor. I work with small, medium-sized business owners, really to get over that it's lonely at the top thing. When you run your own business, you're expected to know all the answers, and actually you don't. Having run my own business for almost 20 years, I know that there are certain things you can't discuss with the team, or you don't want to discuss with the team, or you just don't know the answer. And actually having somebody outside just asking those, why'd you do that? Have you considered this? That sort of thing. That's the service I offer. As I say, it's sort of, the pain point is it's lonely at the top, and I can alleviate that.
When you're in business, you just sort of get your head down and start doing the doing until you sort of look up and think, oh, hang on a minute, it's all down to me. And you do need somebody there just to bounce those ideas off, don't you?
Well, like you say, sounding board sometimes just to get another viewpoint on something's useful, isn't it? And often when you're talking to someone, an idea will come out of it anyway, won't it, as well? It's probably totally different to what you were talking about in the first place. It is useful having someone to work with like that. So sounds good.
And a lot of it is just being able to take a step back and look at the big picture. You know, as business owners, we're all busy with, what's happening today, what's happening next week, what's happening next month. Just being able to unplug slightly and look at the bigger picture, I think that helps a lot of business owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And often you don't see it yourself until somebody points it out, and then it's like, oh, yeah, that's obvious. But you don't see it, do you? Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. So today you're going to be talking about your Pita problem-solving technique.
Oh, sounds
good. So it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And we'd like to know more about it, really.
Okay, so this actually came out of me trying to explain to people what I do, and obviously I've just explained to you generally what I do, and I took this as an example and said my aim is just to talk through issues and problems that you've got. So I started with the question of what is the biggest pain in the arse problem you have. So it's generally to a client, and all your listeners can play along at home. What is the biggest pain in the arse problem you have at the moment? So that's where the Pita comes from. Pita, Pita, and Pata, just because it sounds, it sounds interesting. So this process, and you could do it. You could do it now if you want, and the audience can do it now. So you take a piece of paper, A3 piece of paper or A4 piece of paper, divide it into 9 squares, like you would noughts and crosses. Mm-hmm. And I actually have this on. Good. I have this on my website. So there's a PDF people can download as well. So you've now got 9 squares. You've got 9 squares, and I can see, your listeners can't see this, but I can see that Tracy's doing this as we speak. So in the top row, I want you to write S1, S2, and S3. Okay. So, and we'll come on to the next 2 rows in a minute. the question is, what is the biggest pain in the arse problem you've got? So either write it on a piece of paper or have it in your head. And then you need to find, off the top of your head, the 3 best solutions. So S1 is solution 1, S2 is solution 2, S3 is solution 3. So there might be an easy solution, there might be an expensive solution, there might be a complicated solution. Just off the top of your head, what are the 3, without thinking about it, what are the 3 solutions that could best solve my biggest problem? Okay? Now I can see Tracy, whether she's thinking or whether she's writing, I don't know. So you've now got a situation. I've got this big problem. I now have 3 potential solutions. Okay? Now your middle row, which will be P1, P2, and P3, in those boxes, so in P1, I want 3 pros for why you would do solution number 1. So it might be it's easy, it might be it's cheap, it might be it's quick, it might be we've done it before, it might be something like that. And then in the middle square, which is P2, you would then have 3 pros for solution number 2. And then, if you're following me, P3, which is your middle right square.
3 pros for solution 3.
You see, you're getting it. Okay? Now, your bottom row is going to be C1, C2, and C3. Okay? And that's 3 cons. So 3 reasons why not to do it. Okay? It's too complicated. It's too expensive. We haven't got the skill set to do it. We haven't got the funds to do it, whatever it might be. And then C2 is obviously 3 cons to doing solution 2. And C3 is 3 cons for doing solution 3. So you can do this as a business owner on your own. You can do this as a team. But what you've now got is a very simple set of options for how we can solve our biggest problem in business, our Pita, our pain in the arse. And you can very simply go, okay, which has got the best cons, which has got the best pros, which has got the most cons or least cons, whatever it is. And it's very, very simple to go, right, okay, we've now got a solution or a potential solution to the biggest problem we're facing in our business at the moment. And that's taken us 5 minutes to do that. Now, as I say, that's a very, very simplistic way of doing it. But what it does is it gets people, it gets teams, it gets business owners focused on their biggest problem and very quickly 3 potential solutions. And then a very simplistic way of evaluating which is the best solution to go with. You can then go, okay, we're going to go with solution 2. Right. But yeah, so that's how the Pita Patter works. And as I say, you could do it on your own. You could do it with your team. You could do it on your biggest problem, your second biggest problem, your third biggest problem. But if you do it on your biggest problem, if you're a business owner, there are certain things make you lie awake in bed at night. At 2:00 in the morning, you wake up and go, how do I solve this problem? This is best for that sort of problem because it clears a lot of the thinking blockage because it's a simple process.
And by writing it down, I suppose, just the simple act of writing it down probably helps because you're focusing on it and you get it out of your head onto a piece of paper, aren't you? I suppose that helps as well in some sort of psychological way, I would imagine.
The psychology of writing it, there's also the psychology of speaking it. It's often the case, and I find this with clients, they'll say, I've got this idea, and they'll sort of talk me through it. And as they're talking, you can see their mind going, and it actually just saying it solidifies it and makes it real. When you write it down, it does the same thing. Now we've done on P1 and C1, and I said 3. You can do 5. You do however you want. This is to do it simply. But yeah, writing it down. And as you're writing it down, you can go, that's not really a very good pro, is it? Because actually, you immediately think of a con. And it's just getting that problem solving. It's just a simple system to get that problem solving working. And particularly if you do it as a team, it's great.
Probably going to be at least one that you're going to say, well, that's a rubbish idea.
And part of it, I mean, we did 3 solutions. You could do 4 solutions, 5 solutions, however many you want. But you're right. Yeah. Some of it, as you're writing it down, you just go, and you can't find 3 pros for it. You just find 5 cons. You go, well, all right, we'll chuck that one out. Because you only need one solution. You don't need lots and lots of solutions.
No, true. There's only one solution for the problem, I suppose, isn't it? It's the best. Yeah. Oh, very good. It's a good system. We'll give that a try. We'll spend this evening drawing squares and writing down all our problems.
We haven't got a big enough piece of paper.
Yeah, we need
Lots of different sheets of paper. Yeah,
pad, I think.
yeah. I mean, the other thing as well, and it's on the PDF, and it's a little bit more difficult to explain doing it over just audio. Is actually if you write the problem down at the top, block capitals and on top of the piece of paper, it sort of focuses what the issue is we're trying to solve.
And do you help your clients to come up with the pros and cons, or do you leave it to them to come up with the pros and cons?
A lot of what I do with clients is it's actually all the information's in their brain already. They're the expert on their business. They know what the pros are. They know what the cons are. And once you get them thinking about this sort of process, the stuff just pours out. If you did it for your business, it wouldn't be difficult to come up with 3 or 4 pros and cons on a solution in what you wanted. I can prod and poke, and I can say, well, why do you think that, and why the beauty of what I do is I'm sort of sector and industry agnostic, because they know they've got the information, and I can ask and the sort of classic business question of why do you do it that way? Oh, well, we've always done it that way. And just by asking them, and they go, oh, do you know, have you thought about doing it this way? No, we've never thought about it, because the industry does it this way. And it's a lot of what I do is just pulling bits of information out of people's brains that exists already. I'm not putting anything new in. We just sort of go through their filing system and getting the information out.
Do you find the best results have been when teams of people have got together to do a problem within a business, or is it just sometimes just the MD has the best ideas or whatever? Or
I think one of the things I found when I was running my business, I was always keen to get everybody to contribute ideas to the business, because you don't know who's got the idea, and a lot of the time people on the shop floor will know what the problem is, but the MD doesn't see it. Or people on the shop floor, and I'm using shop floor as a generic term, people at the coalface, they can also see the solution. If we did it this way, blah blah blah, and the MD doesn't see it because he's looking at different stuff. So the upside of doing this sort of thing with a team, and I always found this, was you get ideas from all over the place. The downside is obviously somebody at some point has got to make a decision. Well, not downside, but as the business owner, you've got to make a decision. Go, right, that's the one we're going with, and you've got to sort the wheat from the chaff. But I also always liked the fact that the person over here might come up with what you perceive as a crap idea, but the person over here then goes, well, hang on, if you turn that 45 degrees and we do it this way, the idea is right, but the process is wrong. You've always got other people sparking other ideas, and as a business owner, your team, on one hand, expects you to have all the answers, because that tends to be the case. You're the boss. Tell us where we're going, what we should be doing. Conversely, a good business owner listens to his team and doesn't always have the right answer. And a good business allows the team to be able to contribute and help, and almost choose the direction of the business. And again, if you think about it, if you've got a team who have contributed to the strategy or contributed to the plan, how much more bought in are they going to be to that than an MD saying, this is what we're doing, tell me when you've done it, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's they'll be more invested, won't they, and feel more loyal to the company, and like they're being heard.
Well, feel valued. People can, you want people to feel valued, don't they? That's the thing. It's they're not just somebody knocking about wherever in the building. They actually are a valued member of the team, which is good,
Absolutely.
That's some great advice there, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Phil, if people do want to get in touch with you and find out more, what's the best way of connecting with you?
Okay, so the best way to find me is my website, which is www.philfraser.co.uk. Don't go to .com, because that's a medieval reenactment costume company. So if you see sort of pictures of Robin Hood and that sort of thing, you're at the wrong place. So it's .co.uk, or find me on LinkedIn. I'm on there most days. Just search Phil Fraser. And anybody who's interested in hearing from me regularly, I have a newsletter that goes out, which is at philfraser.co.uk/newsletter. Sign up and read nonsense from me.
And You said you had a download on your website. This downloads on your website, isn't it?
It is.
We can find
I haven't got the URL
the 9 square.
I haven't got the URL for that at the moment, but by the time
one.
this goes out, it will be in the show notes, won't it?
Yes.
Yes,
it will.
Yeah.
We'll find it. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you for that, Phil. Thank you.
Before we go, we always ask our guests if they have a networking tip, but I believe you have more than one networking tip for us today.
I believe 2.5 was mentioned.
I know.
Okay.
So we're all ears.
So my networking tips are sort of going back to what we would now consider old school, sort of meeting people in real life, and actually relates to even going further back, business cards. So, and this is the first half of it is I'm going to be very sexist here and more for the blokes than the ladies. When you're giving people business cards, the old swap business cards things. My tip number one is keep your own business cards on the inside right of your jacket pocket. And when somebody gives you their business card, put it in your inside left jacket pocket. Because often what happens, if you put them all in together, you end up giving somebody else's business card. So you keep your business cards.
And you hand somebody else's business card.
So you keep your business cards in one pocket, and you put other people's business cards in the other pocket. So that's my first half of my business card tip. The second one, and this comes from the industry I was in, or put them in your handbag, or different pockets in your handbag. The second one comes from the industry sector I was in. We tended to have sort of 2 or 3 day conferences and exhibitions. So, after day one, you got a business card from somebody and they go, well, give me a call and we'll talk about it. By day 3, you can't remember who they are, what they said. So I always used to write notes on the back of people's business cards. So, it might be fat bloke with a ginger hair, call him on Monday for a quote or something like that. So it actually remind you who it is and what you said. So that's my second one. So they're two halves of the business card tip. The third one is actually personal to me. I don't like networking. I get quite anxious about the whole thing, and social thing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really don't like doing it. So what I tended to do was I always put myself up to speak at conferences. Because that way, you're actually presenting yourself to 10, 15, 20, 100 people at one time. And there isn't that social interaction, that anxiety of sort of, all the networking stuff. So I put myself up to talk at conferences. So lots of people come over to me afterwards and go, hey, Phil, blah, 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 whatever it might be. And it just takes the edge off that networking anxiety. Now, a lot of people might go, oh my God, standing up in front of 500 people, that's way worse than some of the business card.
People,
so as I say,
you're comfortable.
Yeah, as I say, a lot of people would think, geez, that's a horrible solution. But I enjoy it. I enjoy doing that sort of thing. And it's great because it, gets your name out to lots and lots of people all in one go. So they're my networking tips.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Can I just add to your business card networking tip? Because I've just sort of thought, and I know because I've done this, make sure you get one of those Sharpie pens to write on the card, because sometimes they have like a gloss laminate on them, and you write in your ballpoint, you shove all the cards in, it gets a bit hot and a bit sweaty. Then when you pull your cards out, the next thing you've got a lot of smudges on the cards. What is this? So that would be
permanent marker.
Yeah, use some sort of permanent fine marker on there as well. Because I've done that. I've got the T-shirt there.
Yeah.
There you go. Extra tip from Ian there as well. Fantastic.
Great, yeah. And I was going to invite you to one of our networking events, but actually now I will invite you as a speaker to one of our events, which will be even better.
I'd much rather do that than stand around over lukewarm coffee and swapping business cards with people.
Yeah. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch.
We'll make a note of that. When you're not in Spain, of course, enjoying the weather.
Yeah. Okay, Phil, that was great. Thank you
very
much.
Enjoyed that. Yeah, thank you for your tips. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, thank you for your time. You take care.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we'd like to invite you to one of our in-business online networking events. The link will be in the show notes.
Thanks so much for joining us this week on Business Talks 2 Friday Fix. We hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it. So, until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.